There is something transcendent about stories that endure, not because they entertain, but because they invite us to remember who we are. The works of J.R.R. Tolkien do not simply tell a tale. They hold a mirror to the human condition, reflecting the dance between mortality and immortality, shadow and grace. Welcome to part 2 of our exploration into the profound symbolism and spiritual underpinnings of The Lord of the Rings and Tolkien's wider legendarium. In part 1, we uncovered Tolkien's cosmic foundations, the divine music of creation, the hero's pilgrimage, and the eternal tension between fate and free will. Now, we turn our gaze to those who dwell within this world, their stories resonating with quiet strength and profound truths that shape the very fabric of Middle-earth. First, we turn our attention to the race of men and their defining inheritance, mortality. Known as the gift of men, it is an enigmatic inheritance that evokes both fear and wonder. Unlike the immortal elves, men are bound to the arc of life and death. Tolkien's vision of mortality is not a curse, but a profound gift that elevates the meaning of life itself. Death, as he presents it, is not an end, but an ascension. A passage that brings life into sharper focus by emphasizing its finite beauty and purpose. This impermanence does not diminish life's beauty, but enhances it, making each moment a precious thread in the tapestry of existence. Mortality becomes the ultimate freedom, an invitation to shape destiny with intention and courage, knowing that every choice carries weight. Men walk the perilous bridge between glory and ruin, bearing the paradoxical gift of being free to rise or free to fall. In their fleeting but brilliant journey, they find meaning not despite joy and sorrow, but because of them, for it is the ephemeral nature of life that imbues it with purpose and wonder. Yet, as with all gifts, mortality bears the shadow of corruption. The tragedy of the Númenorians serves as a testament to this truth, mirroring the legend of Atlantis, a mighty civilization undone by its own hubris. The greatest of men, blessed with wisdom and might, fell to ruin because they could not bear the thought of their own mortality. Their fear of death twisted their hearts, leading them to seek immortality through conquest and defiance of the divine will. Like Atlantis, Númenor sank beneath the waves as a consequence of its pride. Yet this tale also reminds us that life's fleeting nature is what makes it precious, an invitation to embrace each moment with gratitude. Their downfall was a sobering reminder that to deny death is to deny life itself, for the joy of finite existence is bound inseparably to the gift of mortality. Against this backdrop, Aragorn, the true heir of Númenor, stands as a beacon of restoration. His ascension to the throne is not a triumph of ambition, but of humility and service. Aragorn's kingship is an archetype of divine rulership, a true leader, one that does not dominate but heals. In Aragorn, we see the redemptive potential of humanity, a return to grace, an acknowledgement that mortality is not something to conquer, but to accept with reverence. But the fate of men remains shrouded in mystery. Even the wise cannot fully comprehend where their souls go beyond the circles of the world. Tolkien leaves us with an unanswered question, a deliberate space for wonder. In this, he reminds us that life's greatest mysteries are not puzzles to be solved, but experiences to be lived. From the grand struggle of men, we turn to the Hobbits, earthbound, simple, and yet spiritually elevated. The Shire, with its green hills and humble homes, is more than a setting. It is an Edenic symbol of untainted life, evoking the peace and simplicity of the Garden of Eden before the fall. But the Hobbits' strength lies not in isolation, but in their resistance to corruption. They are not drawn to power, because they understand the quiet joys of ordinary life. Bilbo, Frodo, Sam, Merry, and Pippin each carry a distinct archetype within this unassuming race. Bilbo represents the reluctant adventurer whose journey transforms him into a wiser, braver soul. Samwise embodies the faithful servant, whose love sustains the hero when courage alone is not enough. Merry represents the courageous underdog who finds strength in purpose, while Pippin embodies the curious wanderer whose journey from naivety to wisdom inspires hope. Finally, Frodo, the reluctant ring-bearer, is the Christ archetype of the suffering servant. Like Christ carrying the cross, Frodo bears the ring as a burden of immense spiritual weight, one that breaks him even as he perseveres. In their quiet ordinariness, the Hobbits reveal that greatness is not born from ambition, but from steadfastness. From these humble hobbits, we encounter an enigmatic figure who exists beyond time's grasp. Tom Bombadil. Enigmatic and untouched by the corruption of the ring, Bombadil is the cosmic witness, a being who sings creation's song without succumbing to its dissonance. Like the watchers of the apocryphal texts, angelic beings tasked with observing the unfolding of the world without interference, Bombadil represents silent guardianship and cosmic perspective. This parallel deepens his role as an observer of creation's story, untouched yet profoundly aware and fully attuned to the harmony and dissonance of existence. He is the embodiment of spiritual wholeness, a reminder that true power is not control but harmony. Goldberry, his radiant counterpart, represents the divine feminine, a sacred balance that completes Bombadil's song and embodies the nurturing, cyclical force of nature itself. She reflects an archetype of Mother Earth, embodying the flowing grace of rivers and the quiet stillness of streams, a living essence of renewal and transformation. As the river daughter, she reminds us that the divine feminine harmonizes creation, channeling beauty, vitality, and life into the natural world's untamed and timeless rhythms. Other characters such as Éowyn, Arwen, and Galadriel each also embody unique facets of the divine feminine. Éowyn, with her fierce courage and defiance of societal constraints, represents the strength to overcome fear and claim agency. Arwen embodies quiet endurance and sacrificial love, choosing mortality to forge a bond that transcends time. Galadriel, the wise and revered lady of Lothlorien, stands as a figure of immense stature among the elves and all of Middle-earth. Her presence commands both awe and reverence, embodying a timeless wisdom and an unyielding strength of spirit. The elves are creatures of starlight and memory. They carry the flame imperishable, a creative spark gifted by Eru himself, representing the undying essence of creation and divine inspiration. This sacred flame resists decay, yet bears the weight of time, symbolizing both the eternal nature of true artistry and the burden of memory and longing that the elves carry within their immortal hearts. The light of the two trees, long extinguished, lives on in their hearts, an ethereal reminder of the beauty that once was, a sacred essence of creation itself. Its memory shapes the elves' perception of time and loss, reminding them of their purpose, even as it deepens their sorrow for all that has passed. This light is not merely illumination, it represents creation's first inspiration. It is an enduring symbol of hope, memory, longing, and loss, woven into a tapestry of meaning that shapes the elves' immortal journey and deepens their connection to the beauty and sorrow of their world. The elves guard sacred knowledge, but their immortality is a double-edged sword. It grants them wisdom, but binds them to a world that fades before their eyes. Among the elves, Elrond stands as a figure of profound insight and leadership, embodying the archetype of the wise steward. As the Lord of Rivendell, he serves as both a guide and protector, bridging the past and future of Middle-earth. His story is deeply entwined with his half-elven heritage. His father, a mortal man, and his mother, an elf maiden, made him and his brother, Elros, part of a rare lineage known as the Peridhill. This distinction granted them an extraordinary choice. They could decide to align with either the fate of men or of elves. Elrond chose immortality and the path of the elves, while his brother Elros embraced mortality and became the first king of Númenor. This decision reflects the tension between eternal memory and the fleeting yet meaningful legacy of men, adding depth to the elves' role as both witnesses to and participants in the unfolding drama of Middle-earth. In their sorrow, they mirror humanity's own yearning for permanence amid transience, embodying the universal struggle to hold on to beauty and meaning in a world defined by change and loss. This reflection deepens the elves' tragedy, as they are both witnesses to wonder and prisoners of their own timeless memories. The tragedy of Feanor, who sought to preserve the light of the two trees in the form of the Silmarils, illustrates this tension with poignant clarity. His attempt to encapsulate this light reflects his desire to preserve beauty and perfection, but also hints at his deeper flaws, pride and possessiveness, which ultimately led to his and his people's downfall. In trying to imprison the light, Feanor became bound by his own creation, turning a gift of wonder into a source of suffering and loss. Yet even in the shadow of Feanor's fall, there is hope. The friendship between Legolas the elf and Gimli the dwarf represents a harmony once thought impossible. Their bond defies the enmity of their peoples, symbolizing reconciliation through shared purpose. In their journey, we see the breaking of old cycles and the birth of something new, a reminder that unity is forged not by erasing differences, but by honoring them. The Dwarves, the adopted children of Ilúvatar, embody resilience and creative spirit. Fashioned by Ola, who longed to create beauty in homage to Ilúvatar, the Dwarves inherited their maker's brilliance and flaws, reflecting the archetypes of warrior craftsmen and industrious creators. Like Hephaestus of Greek myth, Aole's craft was divine, yet shaped by impatience, and the Dwarves mirror this duality in their drive to build, protect, and endure. However, their creativity often walks hand in hand with isolation and pride, making them symbols of creators who risk becoming trapped by their own ambition. Their sacred act of craftsmanship imbues the world with meaning, but their reverence for creation teeters into obsession when beauty becomes possession. The allure of gold and gems tempts them to seek permanence in a transient world. Yet their true legacy is not in treasure hoards, but in the bonds they forge and the songs they sing in the deep places of the earth, where stone and spirit meet. Durin's folk, with their ancient line of kings, hold a cosmic order within their story, a legacy intertwined with the mythic echo of Durin the Deathless, who is said to return through a kind of reincarnation. This cycle reflects the enduring spirit of their people, who believe that strength and leadership are shaped by an eternal lineage of wisdom reborn. This belief imbues their legacy with a sacred sense of continuity, binding past and future through the resilience of stone and spirit. The Dwarves, with their resilience and craftsmanship, embody Tolkien's vision of the divine masculine. Their strength does not seek to dominate, but to protect and preserve, reflecting a sacred guardianship rooted in honor and humility. This theme extends beyond the Dwarves to other figures such as Aragorn, Gandalf, Sam, and Theoden, each representing different aspects of the divine masculine. Aragorn embodies the healer king, Gandalf the wise guide, Sam the steadfast protector, and Theoden the redeemed leader. In Tolkien's legendarium, the divine masculine stands not for conquest, but for service, courage, and the grace to restore and uplift. These themes of creation, resilience, and the divine echo across all the peoples of Middle-earth. Whether mortal or immortal, humble or proud, each race carries a note in the great symphony of existence. In this, Tolkien reminds us that our stories, too, are notes in that eternal song. The choices we make, to rise, to fall, to forgive, shape the unfolding melody. As we close this chapter of our exploration, let us carry forward the threads of meaning Tolkien has so masterfully woven. In the final chapter of our trilogy, we will dive even deeper into the mysteries of Tolkien's world as we confront the final echoes of light and shadow, the nature of evil, the power of redemption, and the ultimate fate of Middle-earth. Thanks for watching. If you found value in this video, please remember to like, share, and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.